Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the What Shapes Us podcast. I am your host, Selema Masekela, and it is my pleasure today to welcome a dynamic and powerful young woman as guest. She is a documentarian, photographer, a storyteller, a book publisher. Where else can I go? She is a surfer. She is relentlessly curious. She's a disruptor. And of late, she is and I'm going to take it down a couple decibels because it's just so regal. She is a National Geographic explorer. Gabriella Angotti. Hard emphasis on the Gotti. Like, don't mess with her.
Don't mess.
Angotti-Jones. Welcome to the What Shapes Us podcast.
Thank you. You did that so regally. I feel so special.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, you are special.
Thank you. I'm starting to come into my own and realize that that's okay, and I'm starting to own that. So
as long as I've known you, which has been about 6 years now.
It's been that long?
Yes. It's 2025.
That's true.
I would say this. I think we met digitally first.
We did.
But I met you before you came and shot me.
I did.
At my house.
That was so fun.
So we had and that was 4 years ago?
I think so. It was around COVID.
It was.
So I remember that. Was it at that Moonlight Beach George Floyd paddle out? Was it there?
That we physically met for
that
the
we
first
physically
time?
met.
I think that was the first time.
Wow.
Which would make it 5 years ago.
Damn. That's wild.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
That was not even another time. That was another planet.
That was another planet. That day was an existential crisis for me.
Was it?
I have never seen that many people on the beach in Southern California supporting Black people before.
And chances are you'll never see it again.
Nope. Won't see it again. Ever. And it was weird. And people were coming up to me and my friends and treating us like celebrities because there were like 6 of us.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. But it was great. It was great.
It's interesting that you bring that up and that you remind me that that's where we physically met for the first time. Because at the timing of this recording, we are literally a couple of days past the 5-year anniversary.
Oh.
It was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Of George Floyd's murder.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about what that time was like, especially for us relative to the surf industry.
Yeah.
And how for about 5 minutes, everybody wanted to listen.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
They were calling us.
Yeah.
Being like, hey.
Yeah.
What don't I know that I could learn? And also, how can we work with you to help whatever it is that we're doing be more, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word in 2025, but inclusive.
Oh my God, you said it.
I said it.
That's crazy.
I might get arrested
You
after
might.
this, but you know what?
The PC police are outside, or the anti-PC police
Yeah.
are outside.
People were reaching out and being like, hey, wondering about how and maybe you could help us identify some of our blind spots and how we could be more inclusive.
Oh my God.
Said it again.
I'm just going to keep gasping.
People were calling you, I'm sure, to be like,
yeah.
Can you help us storytell and take the pictures and do all the things? So like you mentioned, the event you mentioned was a paddle out for George Floyd that we did in Encinitas. I don't think any of us knew it was a rally / paddle out in that time of angst, and we'd all been like buttoned up in our houses for a week and watching this for a few months and watching what took place. There was this galvanization, and there was, for a time, you know, the collective world of whiteness was like, you know what? Clearly this is wrong.
Yeah.
And how do we show up?
Yeah. And they were quiet. and they were listening for about 5 minutes,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And I remember not knowing how to approach that. And I remember experiencing a lot of distrust of people, um, especially as a Black photojournalists. There's not many of us in this space, and all of a sudden, like, we were getting contacted to be hired and like brought up to like really high paying, like high profile jobs, and like a lot of people weren't ready, and like but a lot of people were at the same time, and like there was like no infrastructure to support the people that were being skyrocketed up, so they had to figure it out right away. So it was like showing, from my perspective, a lot of cracks in the system of what support was like. So, and like for someone like me, who I think I'm pretty institutionally supported, especially on the journalism side, like I interned at the New York Times, Tampa Bay Times,
Talk about it.
Chronicle. I worked at the LA Times. I was working at the LA Times at the time. And I actually covered it for the LA Times.
Right.
Yeah, I did.
That's right. You
Yeah.
came up to me literally with like your pad and your camera being, hi, I'm Gabby, and I want to ask you some more questions about this. And
Yeah.
you're amazing.
You're like,
And
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. It was so cool to be able to put that in the newspaper and expose like the readers to that. But anyways, I think like it was a lot of navigation on top of that explosion of emotional energy that a lot of Black people and non-Black people had to deal with. And it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I don't want to get into it too far ahead, but like through working on the book, I realized like so much of racism is internalized, and how you police yourself internally and your thoughts internally. And then that can prevent you from doing things. And that's just one part of racism that I didn't really think about until I like was really dissecting it. And I was like, dang, like I was interpreting these looks as racism. It could have been that, and it probably was, but I was really like seeing it. I was almost looking for it.
Yeah. There's almost like a double shackling that takes place. The ones that are put on you by it, and then the keys that they hand you to make sure you keep yourself locked up. And when I say they, I mean the systemic end.
Systemic, not just white people.
Not just white people.
Yeah.
Please don't come for me.
No.
That's not what this is about.
We talk about systems here.
Yeah, we talk about greater systems. What I love about how we've gotten to know each other is the similarity that we discovered in our upbringing around the surfing thing.
Like, you're my uncle. You're basically my uncle.
I am. I am your old uncle.
You're not old.
But our connective tissue is uncle niece energy. But also, you grew up in a similar way. What I experienced in Encinitas, you did in Southern Orange County, which you have great pride in being from.
Oh yeah, I'll rep
Capo?
it. Capo
Beach.
Capo Beach.
CP in his beach.
Crapo Beach.
Capo Beach.
But it's not really Crapo anymore because it's weirdly getting gentrified by super rich people.
Soup's rich.
But whatever.
Just north of San Clemente.
Yes. It's unincorporated, part of Dana Point.
Okay. Lots
of shapers live there, big wave surfers. It's like kind of where the community lives, like the old heads. And everyone surfs Doho or Sano. Sano's the home break.
For the non-Cali Loke, she's speaking about Doheny.
Yes.
And San Onofre.
Yes.
Two iconic waves that are especially friendly for gliding on the longer crafts.
Yes, the longer crafts. And just vibing.
And just vibes. The vibes are up.
So up. So yeah, I grew up there. I grew up just being around that energy, and my mom taking me to beach. My mom grew up in Whittier in like an insular Italian-American community. My dad's from Texas.
Thus the Angotti.
Angotti.
Paisan. And your pops was Jones.
He's Jones.
Angotti-Jones.
Yeah, but my dad thinks he's Italian, and he is.
I also, without knowing, I'm imagining that your mother had stood on business to be like, yes, I'm with you, I'm gonna marry you, but like Angotti is going to be in this.
That's basically
we are unioned up. Yeah. I'm not losing me to be with you.
Yeah, you met my parents at that Sheckler thing, right?
I did.
Really briefly.
Like super quick.
Short. Yeah. So yeah, my a small Italian mother is a badass and will punch you in the face.
With love.
With love. And so she always, like, her parents always took her to Dana Point for vacations, and she fell in love with it, and that's what she wanted to do. And so when we were living in LA, I was born in Tarzana. We were living in like Altadena, Pasadena, and
You lived in Altadena.
we did, yeah, for like a year or two, which is kind of crazy. And then my parents bought a house in OC in Capo, like a mid-century track home from Ohio.
And you were...
I think when they bought the house, I was right before kindergarten. I think it was like 1999.
I love that you got to be in kindergarten in 1999.
It was sick. It was like Pokemon, and I'm basically dressed the same. I haven't stopped dressing like this, to be honest. If you look at pictures, it's like I'm still wearing fuzzy animal print.
Green berets.
I have not changed. My face hasn't changed.
You know what? I remain motivated by my 8-year-old self.
Literally.
People are always like, so what's your year? I'm like, I pretty much have been 8 this whole time.
I joke that I'm a 12-year-old boy.
Okay.
Because like I drive a really big truck now and I just surf all the time and I cuss a lot.
It's awesome.
So yeah. But anyways, so grew up doing that. I mean, my dad doesn't swim, but he now knows how to swim. And then my mom, like, she just wanted to raise badass. So she just put us in swimming lessons. I played competitive soccer for like 13 years. My sister went to college for soccer. And then my mom, for whatever reason, she put me in junior lifeguards when I was in the 5th grade. So I was with a bunch of high schoolers and middle schoolers. And it was like Navy SEAL training, the one at Strand. Do you know that one?
It's highly competitive.
Yo, and yeah, I actually got a scholarship one year, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
that junior lifeguard program in select cities up the coast is basically preparing you to, like you said, to be like a Navy SEAL without a gun.
Yeah, like a gnarly ass person.
Right.
And I did water polo, I did swimming, I did tennis. I did finish junior lifeguards. I did outrigging. You know this about me? I did outrigging.
No.
I was like a serious outrigger.
I did not know
I paddled to Catalina with Dana Outrigger.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, if I had to classify myself, I'm an outrigger, not a surfer.
So you are a straight up water woman.
Yes. I'm a water woman. I'm not a surfer. And like, I like try to like,
I surf, but I'm a water woman.
I'm a water woman.
I'm a water woman that surfs.
Yeah. And my photography is conservation of the ocean. Like I was photographing sharks and rays in Cameron. Like I'm a water woman. I'm not a surfer.
How did the camera get into your hand?
My dad works in film. He's a designer. So we always had cameras around. My mom always had those digital elves and I would always pick them up. And eventually my first camera, I believe, was a Barbie camera. And I immediately ripped through the film. And so that happened. And then I was just always kind of taking pictures until I got to high school and the yearbook program opened up and I really liked graphic design and stuff. So I enrolled in that and I was the art director. So I like did pictures and the design with my friends. And I remember we got the new Canon Mark whatever, and I took it to a football game. And I went crazy and I took so many pictures. And I remember my teacher, he was going through the take and he was like, these are good. And I was like, yeah, it was just like something went off in my brain where I was like, wait, I love observing life and taking pictures of it. And then I remember like around that time, like I was like researching like programs for college and like a photojournalism program came up at like Syracuse. And I told my mom, I was like, I think I want to be a photojournalist. And she's like, no, Gabriella, that's too dangerous. She like walked out and then like, I actually just told her about that. I was like, remember when I did that? You remember that?
You're like, but I'm an Angotti. Like,
yeah.
Duh.
I'm an Angotti. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. And then I always wanted to work for National Geographic. I always wanted to do that and like incorporate my love for the ocean. So I did a bunch of research and I found out that all Nat Geo explorers were journalists or scientists. So I decided to study environmental science in school and then do journalism on the side. And then I just basically like hustled my way through journalism and got internships and then like taught myself everything, learned about the environment. And yeah, and now I'm here.
It's amazing.
Thank you. It was a lot.
Yeah, and you just gave the very abridged version.
It was, yeah.
Of the thing.
Yeah, I did.
In your book, title again?
I Just Want to Surf.
I Just Want to Surf. Available where?
Through my Instagram on my website.
Okay, which is?
I think it's GabriellaAngotti-Jones.com.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Right, Machete? We'll put it in the I've always wanted to say that. That's the first time I've said that.
Machete.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Congratulations.
I'm a real podcaster now.
I know. I feel so legit.
The book is beautiful.
Thank you.
Everybody, the other thing that is, you self-funded this book.
I did.
You did this all start to finish.
I did.
Yourself. And I remember when you told me, you reached out to me for some advice and perspective, and
yeah,
that was in the wake of us putting out our book.
Yeah.
And AfroSurf, and I was like, good luck. And I wondered, like, not in a way like, not good luck, but like, man, I really hope that that you're able to do this, and you more than did it.
Thank you.
Like, to see the way the New York Times and Vogue,
dude,
like you got a whole ass write up in the Times and Vogue and a bunch of other spaces and places.
Thank you. Yeah.
Field Mag, etc. Like what was that like for you to get the response and the questions that came with it? Because people instantly were very, very curious.
Yeah, it was overwhelmingly positive, but I can't talk about I Just Want to Surf without mentioning Mass Books, who is the distributor. So that's Peter Van Achtmel and Ben Brody. They are my Jewish photo daddies. And also my editor, Deborah, who helped me with the words. So Ben and Peter are war photographers. And they photograph in a really ironic, humorous way, and they photograph war that way. And so when they approached me, they were like, we think this should be a book. You should do this now. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it with you guys. And I learned so much about editing with them. Like, they edit award-winning books all the time. Like, both of them have had award-winning books with Aperture. And so I was like, it was a no-brainer. So we just curated it and wanted to make it the best thing ever and just make it super core. So that was a joy in itself. And I was just so proud. I'm so proud of what we did, especially Annika, who was with Kruma and Herman, but now it's a new design house. She did such an incredible job with the design and the different textures and stuff. So I think like it was really amazing to go through that process and then have it just be picked up and have people be stoked about it was amazing. And like, I really just wanted like the girls in the book to like feel cool and like special and like, and just see that they were everywhere. Like like Lizelle's in Vogue. Like, yeah. That's sick. Like Marie Claire Italy did a whole spread, and like Kimmy and Farmata and like all the girls are in there.
All the girls from your book are all blowing up.
Oh, I know.
Individually. Like I look at Farmata, I saw Farmata. Shout out to Farmy.
We love Farmy.
The queen of Rockaway Beach.
Yeah.
Who she got wanged with Alexander Wang.
She did.
And he does this thing called Wangover.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's about to be on. Because if you meet Farmy and then you hang out with her and like she's just so dynamic in the power, and then at a certain point you're like, oh, also low key, Farmata's also a supermodel?
Yeah, right? She's
just out here lurking, but also should be on runways?
Yeah. Yeah. And she rips.
And she rips surfing. And she charges. And she's like, she's all about taking care of everyone else.
Yeah.
Shout out to her organization, Laura Bea.
We love Laura Bea. Yeah.
But seeing the way she's blowing up and the way so many of the women in your book now are like, it sent them off into where they all should be. That's got to be.
It's so sick. It's so sick. I love seeing the girls like just kill it. And like, they're all like so core about surfing. Like, and they all charge.
And they travel.
And they travel.
Surf trips. And they're like, they are rough, rugged, and raw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like, I wanted that to come across in the book. And because I wanted the book to be just like, you couldn't refute how legit these women are. And
there's nothing cute about your book.
No, it's like pretty depressing. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of joy in it, but like, it's about suicide and depression and like being rejected, but like also community and family and like all that other stuff. But it's pretty real.
You brought up the D word.
Yes.
Which you were battling or have battled. And your camera has been somewhat of a therapist for.
Mm-hmm.
How did you even come to grips with or come into the realization that like, oh, depression?
Yeah. Um, I've always had it. I think it started when I was going through what I was going through back in Capo and San Clemente. And like always in sports, it always came out with how I performed. It wasn't until I started going to therapy, like after a breakup a couple years ago, and like getting on antidepressants and honestly doing the book and realizing that I have value and my friends saw value in me, that I realized I was like, oh, dang, like this is manageable. Like this is okay. Like, I mean, I say in the book that my friends saved my life, and it's like completely true because they helped me realize that like I was valuable. And like, that's so, I mean, it's always going to be a thing in my life, but like, I don't know. And I thought what was really interesting about just that whole dynamic was I realized that the book was about depression editing one day because the pictures were so joyous, but I didn't feel joy. I felt so sad working on it most of the time. And it wasn't until I realized like, oh, I'm just looking, embedding my experiences in them. I'm embedding my experiences in my surroundings. I'm not being grounded in my own world. And until I was ready to confront that, but through photographing, I was able to make a lot of progress.
Wow.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
That's a big unlock.
It was a huge unlock. I was like surfing and I was like, why is this hard? And I was like, oh, it's because I'm like depressed and thinking about this stuff while I'm surfing. And it was a lot. But I addressed it. It was probably one of the most difficult things ever, but I did. So, and anyone can do it.
Yeah. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And happy for you.
Thank you.
That you were able to find that. And also, it's a very big deal to be able to be like, yeah, I'm going to stand on this to the world.
I did not realize I did that until I started doing interviews about it. Because like, I think when you're a depressed person, like you don't really know any other way. You know, you're like, this is my reality. Like, this is how I experience life. And then when people start like dissecting it and wanting to have a conversation about it, it's like weird because I'm like, I don't know. It's just like how I live my life. Like, I don't feel like an advocate, you know, like I'm just talking about my experience.
But because it is something that if you walked in here with a cast on your arm or your leg, we'd all be everyone watching be like, oh my God, she got hurt. This thing happened. And we can't wait for you to heal so we can see you in full motion. But you come in here joyfully in your Pokemon self with, your barrettes, etc. It's a very hard thing for people who don't have the aperture to be like, what does that mean?
That's true.
And people therefore, I think it is a problem society-wise where people they retain this skepticism about depression or anxiety because I can't see the wound.
Yeah.
I can't see what you're walking with.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true.
So when someone stands up and says it, even though it's like their experience, all those other people are like, oh, yeah, that's me.
Thank you.
And that's why people respond the way they do.
Thank you for breaking it down like that, because I honestly like did not understand. Because I don't know, I grew up in like alternative spaces where like we're talking about depression and stuff and music and like punk music and stuff. And, like, it's like dressing like this is like a signifier in some ways. It's like, I have pain. Look at my cute star in my hair and my chain.
That is the best. Yes.
It's true.
That was also, you just broke down like a very cool punk lyric you just wrote. I have pain. It's in my star, my hair, my chain.
It's in my chain. Pain in my chain. Yeah. So yeah, but it's going and it seems to be working out. So we're out here.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you being out here and moving through the journey. When I asked you to come and be a guest on a potential guest, because I could not assume. I couldn't assume that a National Geographic explorer would come on this show. I mean, we've had world champions, we've had many things. You are the first National geographic explorer
Thank
that
you.
we've had.
Yeah.
You were on the continent in the motherland.
I was in the motherland.
Being that.
Mm-hmm.
How did this happen? Because it's a beautiful project that you've been working on.
Thank you.
I do not want to fuck it up by not giving it the proper context. So how did this come to pass? Besides the fact that, like, whenever you shoot, someone else calls and is like, can you come and shoot for us?
Yeah.
And I besides the fact that you do, like, really righteous work.
Thank you.
Like, that is good and for the people and righteous and in his storytelling.
Yeah.
Also, brands are calling up in many different directions being, can you make us look genuine?
Yeah.
And here's the bag.
Yeah. Honestly, I would not be able to do what I'm doing if it weren't for commercial work. I'm so grateful to the ladies at Chase, and
Say it louder.
I'm grateful for the ladies at Chase Bank.
Yes.
Shout out Daddy Diamond.
We out here getting Chase bags.
We're trying.
Chase bags.
Yeah.
Tap, tap.
And then I wonderfully got to do a McDonald's commercial last year.
Let's go.
That was crazy. So that I've just been really honing in on the commercial work just so I can be able to do the journalism.
Do what you have to,
yes,
so that you can do what you want.
You told me that. Like,
did I?
Yeah, I remember when I called you
yes.
last year, and you said that, and I was like, damn, and that was in my head.
All right, Selema, every once in a while.
You
might say some shit that takes root for the younglings. Uncle Selema coming through.
Hell yeah. But
thank you. I'm glad that it resonated with you.
Yeah, no, of course. And so, so that happened. And then also the National Geographic, it takes a long time to get in with them. So this process has been 10 years. I started when I was 22. And I was going to the Explorer Summits. I was meeting with people, got in conversations. I did a grant 2 years ago for Save Our Seas Foundation, which is amazing. It saves sharks and rays all around the world. I got to go to Ghana and Cameroon.
Let's go.
Which was nuts. It was so crazy. But for not enough time, my mentor, Thomas Peshak, was like, you should just apply for a Nat Geo grant just to see what happens. I was like, okay, let's see. It was such a long process. It was 2 different applications, a bunch of meetings. And then I got a grant for shark and ray fisheries in Cameroon because Cameroon is severely under-researched. There's no money going there. The researchers don't have any money. But I partnered with a wonderful organization that is helping build a baseline for the kinds of sharks and rays that are there. So they're actually going out into the fishing villages, surveying it, going out with the fishers, getting to know them, and forwarding their needs and their research so they can bring it to stakeholders and be like, look, like, let's not come down so hard on these fishermen. They're actually doing this sustainably. They eat a lot of the sharks and rays for their food. Like, let's chill out, treat them like people.
Right.
While we're also like building a baseline of the kind of animals that are here. So I partnered with AMCO and then a researcher. Her name's Girlfriend Labne. She's Tunisian, but she's basically Cameroonian because she's been there for 2 years. And we would go out, and there's a couple reels coming out, but we would go out to this small fishing village of the Longi. They got to know us. We met with both chiefs, the Nigerian and the Cameroonian one. We sat down with everyone, told them what we were doing, hung out with families, got hit on, got proposed to, like got on the water with them.
All the things.
Yeah, ate the food. Yeah, all of it. So
what did you learn
God.
about
so much?
Yeah, well, give us some of the learnings.
I don't even know.
You went from, and this is what happens when you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do this thing, and I'm gonna get the grant. I'm going to Africa. I'm gonna go to Cameroon. I'm gonna do this thing, and then you get there, and now you're ingratiated in the culture, and the learnings begin.
Oh yeah, I mean, West Africa is gnarly. It's super gnarly. And it's a very complex place because of colonialism, because of foreign interests coming in and taking out all the wealth. That area, Cameroon is so wealthy. Like, there's just food growing on the side of the road. There's just gold. Like,
right.
Just there,
Yeah.
So, like, people are coming in and taking, and it leaves the people in, like, a really interesting dynamic where, there's no local economy for them. They're not participating. And then you have me, who comes in, a little white girl, who's like, I'm going to take pictures of you. What's up? And they're like, what the fuck? So, and Cameroonians, like, aren't nice. They are off once you get to know them, but they have a
They
very
don't lead with niceness. They're
No.
kind people.
They're kind,
but you
but
have
they
to earn kind. There's
Yes.
no facade.
There's no
nice.
facade. West African culture is very direct.
Yes.
And which I have come to really appreciate,
Mm.
but also very silly. There's just everyone's joking around and being direct and is wild. So it was a lot culturally to get to know, especially as like a white woman down there. There's no nuance. I'm white, as you know. So that was interesting. I got typhoid fever and I was out for a week, and I have a little scar on my hand from getting infusions every day for 5 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you want to be up here embedded with us?
Yeah, right. They were like, you.
Get your antibodies up.
Yeah, but I think, it taught me a lot about my tolerance for myself. A lot of things change every day, constantly. Like, we're so lucky that we live in a world where I just drove here and nothing happened. A bunch of things didn't complicate my life getting here. So I've grown to appreciate that. I've grown to appreciate, having the opportunity that I have as a woman. But also, like, I really appreciate the scientists and researchers there because they are doing it on their own dime and are creating what they need to create, just to make sure that they advocate for their communities and people and stuff. Right. And it's just like, it's just gnarly. It was great, but it was just gnarly.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. We swinging through the pendulum of your.
I'm all over the place.
Of your of the entirety of your makeup. And look, this is the What Shapes Us podcast. So we're in it.
Yeah.
You learn to dance with the sting of your blackness in white spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up. You make this quest for 10 years to be an explorer. You go to the continent.
Yeah.
And you said something twice that was very poignant in a feeling of your whiteness being in the continent.
Yeah.
Expound upon that a little bit.
I am going to try.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I'm going to preface this by saying I never wanted to do work in Africa. I didn't feel like I could. I didn't feel like I needed to.
Why not could?
Because first I thought it was a skill thing. And then I was like, I'm American. I'm from the West. I don't need to go there. Mm. But then I was given the opportunity to go and to be a part of a team to advocate for something. And I was given the invitation to come and do that. And then I realized, I was like, damn, I'm kind of like American exceptionalizing myself while saying like, oh, I'm American. I don't need to go to Africa to do work. Like, I need to stay here. But like, that's just not humanistic or based in reality, because once you get down there, no one gives a
Yeah.
And that's just so American to think about that. Right. So that's whiteness, in my opinion, in a way. So getting over that and then finally getting down there and then being treated as an outsider, which I am, it was really humbling because I'm like, this is not where I belong, but I'm here with people trying to make this work and trying to collaborate. But it just put me in a space of listening and not trying to, just listening and translating, right. Not trying to say or do anything. And so much of my time there was trying not to take a stand or immediately photograph what I wanted. Like, I literally took 2 weeks to just absorb everything and just talk and get to know people. And then once I got through that and got through the shock of what I was seeing, I was able to see the people and the culture and like get over my exceptionalism and just be like, I'm here.
Just be down here at eye level.
Here. I'm at eye level.
And next thing you know, you're being proposed to because at the end of the day, you one of us. They were like, listen, why don't you stay? Let's make these babies. You're one of us.
Yeah. And then also like the discussion of like how Black Americans don't think that they're African. Mm-hmm. And that how a lot of really interesting conversations about Black American exceptionalism, mm-hmm. But they'll wear the dashikis, but then they'll be like, why do I want to go there?
Right.
Yeah. So it was, yeah.
The heritage, but not the people.
Right.
Which is also rooted in supremacy on a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other podcast.
How we've been divided up.
Yeah. And just like how like the brilliant people there aren't given the same opportunities and connect with the like-minded people in America, because it's just this whole thing. Anyways, yeah, it's still
That'll be on the colonialism episode.
Yes, when I get to come back.
It's bonus. We'll make it a panel.
Yeah, and like I remember I was on a boat with a fisherman, and so like in Cribby, the town I was in, there's starting to be foreigners that are building these massive houses on the coast, but then running out of money and just leaving them.
Of course.
Yeah. So we were going, and I was like, "Oh, that's a crazy house." He's like, "Yeah, there's a Canadian dude. He just built it, and like, I don't know, he left it." And I was like, "How does that make you feel?" He was like, "Why would I care? Why would I care about that?" And I was like, "There you go." It's so American to care about that.
Yeah.
It's so American.
What does that have to do with me?
He's like, "That has nothing to do with me." He's like, "Sure, I don't know. Who cares? I don't care that rich people are coming here. Maybe they'll bring jobs."
Right. What an interesting perspective as you're sitting on the boat, like literally trying to like feed.
Yeah.
This is what I'm concerned with.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Everything is like, I just need to focus on what I need to focus on. Like, and so now like I'm back in the US, and I feel so locked into like whatever I'm doing right now. And I'm just like not really paying attention to anything else. Cause like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, especially, I know there's a lot going on politically, but you know, we all need to kind of just lock in and figure out and be a good person.
Yeah. Well, thanks, young person. Take some of the edge off. Uncle wakes up with a different energy.
Just call me.
I'll call you.
I'm grill pilled, man.
Yeah.
I'm grill pilled.
Give me some of them grill pills.
I'm like covering protests, but I'm like, who cares? No, that's not true.
I do think in the bigger picture, it is a lot about observance.
Yeah.
A lot of observance is required. And as we said before, like we did the all hands on deck thing 5 years ago. And how did it really work out? Like they were like, "Oh, really? We'll show you all."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yes, I do think that it is the state of like 24-hour alert vigilance in the midst of all the will tire you out. I've been saying to people like, yes, be aware, but also like stock up on your joy.
Yeah.
Stock up on your joy. Figure out what your resilient, joyful acts of resistance look like, because joy and community goes against all the things that are being pushed at this time.
Yeah.
So bathe in the intersectionality and of community, etc., and shine as hard as you can. So I get it. So thank you. It's a very good reminder.
Yeah, but also like support local news.
Right.
I'm on a podcast, I have to say that.
Yeah. Don't grill pill yourself to the point of depth of ignorance.
Do not become ignorant.
Yes.
Just find your peace. Yeah, so support your local news, stay informed. Don't just rely on social media, talking heads, dangerous. And just like traveling and having new experiences. I don't know, like I think I'm still trying to, I wish I had like a cleaner way of saying it. I'm still trying to parse out that experience, but yeah, You just got home. I just got home.
Like you literally just got home. You're jet lagged.
I am. Yeah. I slept until 2 yesterday. I totally am.
And you hit me up being like, "Yo, I'm home. Let's get on these microphones."
I'm like, we have to do.
We have to talk about.
Yeah.
So thank you, and we look forward to seeing what comes out of it. How long were you there?
I went probably separate about 8 weeks total.
Nice.
So I took a break to come back and work.
A whole culture shock that you're returning to on top of all.
Yo, yeah. I don't even know how to. Yeah, it's been crazy.
Will there be a book sequel?
To Surf?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm just taking a break from it right now. I have to see how everything develops, how I develop. I think the Africa stuff, it might be a book, the way I'm shooting it. And they're surfing down there.
Yes, there is. Cameroon and Ghana.
Oh, yeah.
It is magic. Oh. And there's so many good surfers.
That's crazy.
It's just the beginning of, I think there's an African storm coming.
Oh my God. Not you think. It's inevitable.
It is inevitable.
It's literally inevitable. They like have world-class waves.
Yeah. And world-class, like incredible talent.
Athletes.
While the professional competitive surfing end of surfing is a very small sliver. It is an amplifier.
Yeah.
And you know, you look at like the impact that Michael February had being on tour for one season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let like 2 or 3 of us up in there from the continent. Don't let us have a what? No,
Dude.
please.
I'm still thinking about him surfing Pipeline. Remember, I was with you.
Yeah.
Slayed.
Yeah. And he'd
never done it. I was like, yo, it's coming.
It was such a powerful thing. You know, I remember being on the beach with Mikey, all of us being like, you know, we're watching the first ever Senegalese pro surfer have a crack at Pipeline, and shout out to Vans and Pipe Masters for being like, this is an opportunity to build a future of what? Inclusion. Wow. I said it again. That's 4 times. They're going to fine us.
We might get taken off.
We might get taken off.
We might get taken off there. It's fine.
But it was powerful, and it also feels like 100 years ago.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
It kind of was. Yeah, no, it's coming. And then I also found out that Cameroonian women's soccer is powerhouse, apparently.
Yes. They're very
powerhouse. Very good. So I want to do something with them. So
World Cup's coming up. Mm-hmm. Make it happen.
We'll see.
One thing about you is you're going to shoot whatever it is that you want to.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. That's super true. I will just do it.
Once again, the book is called I Just Want to Surf.
Yes.
And you can find it you'll find it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Because Gabby's not really sure.
I don't know what's going on ever.
But Gabriella Angotti-Jones, thank you. Thank you for your depth and rawness of vulnerability and your beautiful journey that is still unfolding.
Thank you for the same thing.
And we have to actually we need to do a proper surf collective trip.
Oh, please. El Sal, please.
Yeah, a little El Sal, get the homies together for a little bro surf dance.
Oh my God. I will plan it.
All right.
I'll plan it right now.
You plan it and I'll show up.
Okay.
Where can people find you and follow you?
Instagram. My name's Gabriella. There's GA.Brella.
Say it one more time slowly.
Sorry. GA.Brella.
And that's on IG's your main deal.
IG's the main.
You're not talk ticking?
I'm not yet. I've been asked to.
You would listen. I'm an elder.
Is it the hair clips?
I'm an elder. I'm an elder who's like every time I go to TikTok, this is me. I walk into the room and I'm like, oh my God, I don't go here. Like I try. If you go on my TikTok, I did one random post about Gabrielle Medina's iconic shot.
Yeah.
And it kind of went hard. Like I learned how to do the green screen thing, and I'm like, let me just. And it went hard, and people were like, "Yo, let's go." I'm like, I think I'm one and done.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I understand the landscape. You got to be super talented and have time on your hands to create there, which you do. So I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Maybe not the time on your hands part, but I think creatively, it'll be another.
The TikTok is coming.
It's coming.
We started with the Nat Geo stuff, but.
Okay, so it's coming.
It's coming.
And you'll be showcasing your National Geographic Explorer stuff on your Instagram. Mm-hmm. There's a link, I'm gonna imagine, on your Instagram also for the book. So yeah, just go.
Let's go to Instagram.
Just go to the IG, and you can be friends with the one and only Gabriella Angotti-Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.